Hey guys, what's up? Well, I'll do a little snow story for you today. It'd be kind of hard for you to tell just by looking right now, but as of 6:30 this morning, we had about 3 inches of snow on the ground, and it's mostly all melting off now. It's been in the 40, well, not in the 40s, about close to 40 now, so it's quickly going away, but we had a measurable amount. And as you can imagine, it turned into a traffic nightmare. I had to be out in it this morning. I had to go on a little road trip out of town that was previously arranged. I had to be there. You'll understand later. So I had to get out in it. So get the car started here while I'm talking, have some heat. So anyway, I was out in this crap today. And not a good idea anyway, because this little car is not, it's so wide, it's not near ideal to drive in this kind of weather. It doesn't have any kind of traction control or stability control or anti-lock brakes or anything like that. So needless to say, I slipped and slid my way. I ended up going north out of here, out towards Tennessee, to get out of all this stuff. So I slipped and slid my way up the parkway and through the city streets and things like that. And it was just a white knuckle drive for sure. I made it, but this little car, every time you put the brakes on and hardly any at all, it slid, and anytime you gave it any gas at all, it pretty much slid. So just not enjoyable. I've got a headache now, but it's about 2:50 in the afternoon, so everything's melting off, but we are supposed to get another round of this in the next day or so, so we will see what happens there. Let me tell you my snow story, and this has to do with the people that out driving in this stuff along with me. And I'm just going to tell you first of all that I don't proclaim to be the best driver in wet or snow conditions or ice conditions, but I try to be real cautious, and it's gotten where I'm really hate driving in snow because the people in this area, and I think the people in general in the South, they're just no good at driving in the snow. They don't comprehend it, and I don't have an explanation for that other than that there's probably a couple things leading into that. But first thing that happened is I got out this morning and got the car out, and this whole road and everything just covered, the streets covered with snow, a couple inches deep, and icy snow, and it was slick. And so there's a couple car tracks coming by through here, so I pulled out, and there come the residents. I pulled out going, yeah, lady, don't even slow down for that speed bump. I hope you have to spend a couple $100 fixing that damn thing. Idiot. So well, that's exactly what I'm telling you. Watch. Well, he slowed down a little. But see where that Jeep's going down there. I followed those tire tracks down, and I got about where that Jeep was down there, and I'll be doggone if those tire tracks didn't go almost straight into the dadgum curb down there in front of that guy's house. Right down there. And somebody hit the curb, sideswiped the curb, and just drove away from it, you know. And so I had to stop and get one of my tires checked this morning at about 7 o'clock. So I did that, and I was sitting in the waiting room, and they got a big window faces the parkway, and on the parkway we've got the parkway itself out here, and then we've got an access road closer in. There's a 2-lane on each side. There's the mail lady. She's an attractive mail lady too. But so I'm sitting there watching these people go by, and the parkway's closed, so nobody's on the parkway. But these people are coming by, and they are coming, I kid you not, even though snow and ice is on the pavement and it's slick, they're coming by at normal speed, just zoom right by, you know. And I thought to myself, I'm sure I'm going to see a wreck, no doubt. And I didn't. Somehow or another, nobody had a wreck. But so I took off, and I snaked my way through the city streets. Well, this, you know, we got the parkway, but there's a way out of town that leads out of downtown, the old highway. So that's the way I went, and I mean, it was just slick, 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 slick. And the whole way, guys, somebody was on my tail the whole way. And I don't, that makes me so nervous. And I don't understand why people do that. Because, it's you have to talk like you're a kid or something to them, I guess. It was like, well, if you're right behind somebody and they crash, you crash too, So I had to deal with that, and I finally got on the parkway heading north, and it was just total ice. And there she goes back again. She slowed down a little bit that time. So it's total ice, and I'm going along, and this guy going up the parkway, and this guy's coming. I see him coming in one of these little newer Honda Civics. He's coming this way on a side street, kind of out in the country a little bit, and he's probably doing all 40 miles an hour. He's on ice and snow, and I'm on ice and snow, and so he starts trying to slow down. I see his tires lock up, and his anti-lock and all that, and he's still doing the best he can do to slow down. And I can't put the brakes on, because I put the brakes on, I don't have anti-lock. Even if I try to pump them, this thing's going to go somewhere. And so I just held on. I said, well, he's going to hit me. And somehow he got that thing stopped right on the line. And he's some big fat doofus wearing glasses in there, and he ended up catching up with me and passing me on the 4-lane. So I went on up, and a couple 3, 4 miles onward, I went up, and it's still snowy, and starting to kind of run out of it, but the turn lanes were still real snowy and icy. And I was going along about 30 miles an hour, and this guy in this Saturn, I couldn't see him, he had tinted windows, but he's coming this way, and he gets in the left turn lane to go, turn behind me into a service station. And I could tell how fast he was going. It's there again. It's like going too fast. And so he just starts turning about the time I get past him. So I just look up in my mirror there and start watching. And he makes about one big slide this way and then one big slide back the other way. And somehow I think he got it straightened up and pretty much stopped, And that wasn't all. This is in the space of 30 minutes. The next thing that happens, I'm going along there, and I had to be on a city street. I think this had happened before that one, actually. I got the timeline wrong, but I'm going along the city street there, and it's a 4-lane street. And there's this, looks like one of those little front-wheel drive minivan, Quest minivans or Villager or something like that. And it's kind of sitting here, waiting to pull out like this. And the road is kind of banked up right there, and so I guess evidently they're going to turn and come this way. And I get up, I don't know, 500 yards, 250 yards away, whatever it was, 100 yards. I was getting close, coming up on them, and I see that thing sitting there, and the tires are just spinning on it, and it just starts creeping out. And sure enough, there comes the front end of that thing sliding around, because this utterly stupid person who does not understand the dynamics of slick pavement is just keeping in it, and somehow or another I got over enough, and she or he, I guess, finally activated enough brain cells to understand that you need to let off the gas and it'll get traction, and they got it straightened up and went, so. But I'm going to tell you something, and I don't like making these kind of irritated rant videos very much, but we deserve it. The people in this area, in Huntsville and the South like this, where we don't get snow very often, they're totally worthless in the snow. You don't need to even be out around them, because they're terrible. They're either going to hit you or they're going to hit something else. They're totally unskilled morons. And of course, that's been said many times, but it's the truth. And as far as people following you too close and speeding in the snow, here's the thing about Huntsville I've noticed. Huntsville drivers, and we have a lot of these import brack dumbasses here too from other places. That doesn't help. But Huntsville drivers have adopted this kind of driving style where if you don't drive 5 to 7 miles over the speed limit at all times, you're a dumb loser who's not as smart and not as important as they are. So, you know, people here, they're either not willing or they don't have the comprehension or the mental ability to dial that back and say, well, if it's slick out here and there's things on the ground, this white stuff, I think it's called snow, maybe I should slow down. Maybe I should just stop looking as important as I think I normally am and slow down a little bit. And I guess part of this, a big part of it, you know, people, a lot of times it's these people driving these $30,000 little crossover SUV things and full-size SUVs, and they, you know, they're, you know, drivers are egotistical, and I guess they feel like, well, you know, I paid all this money for this vehicle, and it's got all these electronic idiot-proof nanny systems on it, like stability control and anti-lock and things like that, so I shouldn't have to drive as slow as you do. See, I'm better than you because I spent all this money and I have a newer vehicle, so I'm better than you, and I'm going to show you how much better I am because I'm going to go faster than you are. And I have no problem with that until you almost hit me. You know, if you want to go faster and risk causing an accident or have a wreck, you know, if you pile up your $30,000 SUV because you're just that stupid, I don't have a problem with it. It kind of amuses me, actually, because I think you get what you deserve. But, you know, it really disappoints me, I guess, that my fellow man and woman show such a total, you know, a total lack of comprehension. It's like when there's white stuff on the ground, it's slick. When there's ice on the ground, it's slick. You know, there's no magic computer program or phone app that will change that. And I'll tell you one little thing lastly, is that, you know, the people here, they're either arsenal workers or they're computer techies who know not one thing about cars anyway. None of them do. That's why they drive like they do, and so that's about how skilled of a driver they usually are. And it's like my boss. I like my boss a lot. I've worked with him a long time, but he scares me to death to ride with him in the rain because he's one of these people that they don't slow down in the rain. They think, well, I'll just drive normal. You know, he has no comprehension of that. He's the one that puts the cruise control on in the snow. And I guess if anything I can draw out all this at the end of this video is to say that I am just super thankful to the good Lord that He gave me and my brother, and I'm sure a great many other people, enough common sense to know better than to do these things. For the rest of you who don't possess that common sense, or you're too egotistical of a driver to drive safely in the snow, don't drive. Just stay home, or get somebody to drive you. But better off just stay home. Stay away from us, because, you know, us guys and girls driving 25 miles an hour, we know better. So anyway, folks, that's my snow story for Huntsville, and we'll talk at you in another video. So have a good one. I'll update you if we get any more snow. I'll make a video of it. So see you later.